Coming up next is the Commissioner's Report, and first we're going to be talking to Commissioner Bell. She's going to talk about what it's like being a county commissioner, and right after that discussion, we're going to be checking in with Commissioner Smith. We're going to be highlighting Eagle Lake. The mayor will be on as well. He's brand new. Don't go anywhere. The Commissioner's Report is coming up right after this. Thank you for joining us here on the Commissioner's Report. I'm your host, Kevin Watler, and we're going to be talking with Commissioner Melony Bell today. Commissioner Bell, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So we're going to get a little bit personal with you today. We're going to kind of go back in time, and when you were a little girl, what did you dream of becoming?
I never sat around and thought I would be a county commissioner, put it that way. But I always thought I wanted to be an airline stewardess for some reason, but never did do that. Was raised in a small town, and both my parents worked with the phosphate industry. My dad retired from phosphate industry with CF, and my mother worked for S-Tech. And so it was when the phosphate industry was booming back in the 70s. And when I graduated from high school, I went to Polk Community College back then, and also worked part-time, got married, and took a job with the state of Florida with driver license, actually. I worked with the Division of Driver License for 4 years, and ended up getting a promotion, and went with Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, worked with DMV actually as an auditor, and stayed with them for 30 years and retired from the state. But to give you a little background of how I become involved in politics, it's I guess it would be a grassroots effort on my part, because I never dreamed of being a politician. Never was political. I was, like I said, working full time. My husband's in agricultural, and we had 2 daughters, little girls at the time. And there was an issue that came up in Fort Meade about a private prison company that wanted to come in and build a prison next to a middle school. This prison company was out of New York, and it was for felons, like first-degree felons, murder, rape, and they were going to be bringing people from out of state to fill the prison there. And I got a phone call from my mom one evening and said, have you been reading the paper about they're wanting to bring a prison to our small town? And I said, Mom, there's probably nothing we can do about it. I said, it's probably a done deal. I said, I don't want to get involved in it. She goes, well, you're going to be raising children here. Your children will be going to the school next door to it. Said, I think you need to take a stance. You need to go find out, get educated anyway. It's just what I've been reading in the paper. And so I did. I took my mom's advice and went down to one of the meetings, and there were so many people, it was packed. They had moved the meeting from City Hall to the community center. And while I was there, there was a lot of people asking questions on. I had written some questions down of, the research I had done in the newspapers, because we didn't have internet back then. So anyways, I got up and I asked a few questions, and the commissioners couldn't answer it. They kind of stumbled, and so right then I thought, something's not right about this prison company. And so after the meeting, all of the people that was there, they came to me and said, would you help us fight this prison against the prison? And I said, well, let me think about it. I've never done anything like this. I was, like I said, working full-time mom, and I taught Sunday school and was in the junior women's club. And that was
busy life.
Busy life, and that was the extent of it. So I got home and thought about it, and more I thought about it, I thought, this is wrong. It just doesn't smell right. So I called them up, and we organized and actually become a political activist group. I chaired the group. We had to go down to the supervisor of elections and, register. I had to open up a bank account. We hired an attorney and started pulling, asking for public records requests and all. And it ended up going to, since Fort Meade doesn't have a referendum in their elections, it went to a straw ballot. And it was so messed up. It was vote no if you want a prison, vote yes if you don't. And come to find out, the prison company had taken planning and zoning members to New York to show them this prison supposedly, and taken some of these city commissioners, but they were never taken to the prison. They were taken to a country club and wined and dined for the weekend and shown videos of how awesome it's going to be if the prison did come to Fort Meade and the economic impact and all. But long story short, we ended up, I think it was 82% of the people voted it down. And so that evening, the commissioners decided not to accept the prison company. The next day, the city manager was fired. There was, state attorney's office was looking into, why some of these people were on the take. And so we won. So it was good. There was a big group of us. I would say probably 55 people that got involved in this. So about a year went by, and everything was good. And there was a spot on the city commission that was coming available, and some people called me and said, can we meet with you? And they came back to see me and said, would you run for city commissioner? And I said, no. I said, I am not political. I don't want to get involved with city politics or anything else. And they said, well, would you think about it? I said, yes, I'll think about it and I'll pray about it. I said, and I'll talk to my family. But I said, right now I don't feel like I'm getting moved in that direction. Well, guess what? I got moved in that direction after praying about it, and I met back with these people, and they said, well, since you've said yes, we're ready to even run your campaign for you. Said you don't have to campaign, we'll be out there campaigning. And well, I felt like I needed to get involved somewhat. And I'd never run a campaign, never been involved with campaigns. And so I did, and actually I ended up beating an incumbent and stayed on the city commission 14 years, and three out of those 14 years I was mayor of my city. And so, my kids ended up graduating from high school, college, and I retired from Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, and thought, Fort Meade hasn't had any representation in over 64 years, has not had a county commissioner there. The last county commissioner we had was Julian Durrance, which was Judge Dale Durrance's dad. And I said, it's time for us to have a voice in the south end of Polk County. And so I decided to run for county commissioner. And I did a grassroots effort again. I announced at the steps of City Hall. I invited everybody. We did an old-fashioned campaign rally where I had all my nieces there dressed up, and we had lemonade and cookies, and I invited the mayor of Lakeland came down and introduced me. I just did social media. I sent no invitations. I said, I'm going to announce, and I thought it was very important when I do announce that I'm a candidate for county commission, that I do it in my hometown at City Hall. And so had over 250 people show up. And it was 17 months before the election. And I knew that if I ran for county commissioner, I was known in the south end of the county, but since the county is a countywide election for county commission, I knew I had to get out amongst the people and introduce myself and let them know what my platform was. So I announced that day, and literally 17 months, I might have taken 2 days off, but I was all over this county introducing myself and meeting people and going to pancake breakfasts at 5 in the morning. And in fact, I got on the ballot. I decided, instead of paying, I think it would have been like $3,800 to get on the ballot, I decided to get signatures. And I collected something like 5,000 signatures to get on the ballot. And so that gave me an opportunity to meet the citizens and ask them to sign the signature card, but also be able to introduce myself and tell them why I was running, why I decided to step out in faith and run for this office.
Wow. So now you are a county commissioner. And what's it like being a county commissioner? What are some of the challenges with it too?
A lot of challenges. I think the biggest one is time management. Like I mentioned to you, I serve, you have to live in your district. There's 5 districts, and I'm in District 2. But I'm voted in countywide, which I think is a great policy that we've set. Our forefathers that said, we want you, to live in your district, but let's let everybody vote you in, because it's just a style that, I care about the whole county. I just don't care about my district. We're looking at it as a whole. And time management is probably the biggest thing for me, because everybody wants a piece of my time. I live on the south end of the county, so if I drive up to Poinciana, north up at the Four Corners, it's a good hour and 35, 40 minutes for me to get up there. So driving around the county has been an issue, trying to make these appointments and all. But I didn't, when I ran for county commissioner, I just like I told you, my platform was, I'm conservative. I didn't have an axe to grind. I didn't want to come in and get rid of anybody. I thought things were going well. Jim Freeman was the interim county commissioner during that time. He was doing a great job. I just wanted, I felt like that was my calling at that time. I wanted to be a county commissioner, and thought, well, I'll run for the first 4 years. Didn't think I'd run for the second term. I said, we'll just see how it works out, and decided, yes, I wanted to run for the second term, and I ran with no opposition. So it had, first time 2 county commissioners ran at one time, I think over 60 years that had happened to.
Wow. Yeah. And as a county commissioner, you have to do some lobbying a lot of times. Tell me about some of those efforts.
That's part of my job that I enjoy. I'm a people person. I love meeting people, and it's relationship building. And as a county commissioner, you need to have those relationships, not only just with your citizens here, your constituents here in the county, but you need to have them with your delegation, your state legislators, senators, and also congressional. Because we're always looking, what can we do to enhance the county? What do we need, grants and all? So we go to Tallahassee once a year, at least once a year I go up. We may have to go for other reasons. And that's Polk County Days. We invite everybody, all the leadership groups here in the county, we invite them up to see the Capitol, to see what's happening, how laws are passed. And so I've been very involved in that. And then also we go to DC. And before we go, we sit down and we discuss with our colleagues, what do we want to lobby on this year? What needs do we need in Polk County? And the last 3 years, we've been talking about the Bartow Northern Connector Road, as you know, which would be Highway 60 from CSX, the logistics center, to get them over to 17, and then it would hook up with Ernest Smith Boulevard and take them out to 98, then they would be able to get on the Polk Parkway. But 13 years ago, I was a city commissioner, and I was involved with the economic development here in Bartow. It was their Committee 100. And I can remember DOT and the county having a meeting and talking about CSX, and it was coming in, and this road was going to be built. Well, nothing's ever happened. And, I think we've got the, we put our cart before the horse, because now CSX has all these truck traffic on the road, and we don't have, the right transportation system for them.
Mm-hmm. And almost running out of time, but let's quickly talk about, some of the successes that you've had from the lobbying.
Well, let's talk about the Bartow Northern Connector.
Sure.
Like I said, the last 3 years it's been very important that I try to get this road not only just for my district, but for Polk County. The trucks come in and they leave and they go to the Port of Tampa, so we need that transportation system set up. So this year we decided, instead of just lobbying our own delegation, let's go see, the person that's over the appropriations, that's giving the money out. Let's go see the person with transportation that's involved with that. So we set up appointments this time, saw all of them, and we finally got them to put it in language that, it's going to fit us, would be in a logistics center. So now we're going to be able to apply for the grant. And the lobbying hasn't stopped. We were going to have to continue with our delegation and with the governor to show him the importance of this road and what we need.
And any last comments?
No, just that I love my job. Like starting back as a little girl, never thought I'd be a county commissioner, never thought I would be in this position. But, I am following the American dream. I think if you set your mind to do something, you certainly have that opportunity here in the United States and here in great state of Florida and Polk County.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Bell, for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. It's great always to tell my story and tell you how great things are here in Polk County.
All right, appreciate it. Well, that's it for this part of the Commissioner's Report, but right after the break, we'll have more coming up, so stay with us.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/place60.
Now I get it.
We need a claim number?
When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving. We're here to help.
Welcome back to the Commissioner's Report, and now we have Commissioner Ed Smith, and he has a special guest today. His special guest is J.R. Sullivan. He is the mayor of Eagle Lake. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And I also want to welcome the mayor here. This is the third in a series of highlights, I guess we could call it, that we're doing for the cities in my district. And you recall, we've taken Eagle Lake and now, and then before we've taken Polk City and Lake Alfred. And so we'll just keep moving through and give them a chance to really brag on their city, because each little city, each community has some things that we probably don't know about that they are very, very proud of. So we want to welcome the mayor. I'm glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
And I'm sure you'll give us a lot of information we didn't know.
For sure, yeah. We were talking a little bit about before the show, and I know the viewers are going to be very excited to hear what you have to say, Mayor. But first, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I'm someone that likes to give back to the community. I worked for the city of Eagle Lake for about 24 years, retired as police chief in 2007, one of the longest running police chiefs, I think 14 years. That's a feat in itself. Mm-hmm. Took a couple of years off and ran for the commission in 2009 and did that for 6 years and took a year off, and now I'm back.
Oh, excellent. So, police chief, what are some of the accomplishments you would say that you had as a police chief?
The biggest one that comes to mind is we were ranked, the city, as the safest city in the state of Florida, in the top 10 for a good number of years. That's something to be proud of. We faced the same problems any other city has, just on a smaller scale. Mm-hmm. My attitude growing up in Tampa and coming to Eagle Lake, you come there to kick back and relax. Mm-hmm. You didn't have the hustle and bustle and crime rate. The streets were safe to walk. Whether you want to walk your kids, let them go ride their bikes, or walk your dog. You didn't have and still don't have that problem of worrying about them getting run over.
So it's a very family-oriented type place. It's a great place to raise your family. You said your children were raised there and everything. Very,
very true. We have 2 elementary schools, Lake Region High School, and the opportunities that you have, the one-on-one with the schools, and you get to watch your kids grow up right there in the city. So it's priceless.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now we're going to take a quick look at a video of some highlights we did of Eagle Lake. So let's have a look at that right now.
Born and raised in Eagle Lake in 1933. I attended this school here right behind me for 9 years, and later went to Raven High School. But I was born and delivered by a midwife. This school meant a lot to all of us, and we really fought to keep it intact like it is now.
Granny went to school here. You and Mom both went to school here. I went to school here for a short period of time, but it's no longer an educational building. We just use it as a community building.
At this school, I got my rear end tore up. My first grade teacher called a second grade teacher in, and I had a problem with talking, and I can't hardly talk now, but I had a problem talking then.
I was wondering where I got that from. My grandfather was the public works director. He was our only police officer for many years. He had many hats that he wore. When did he start working with the city?
He retired in 1972.
So he was in the early to mid 50s is when he started.
Early 50s, yes.
Dad and I have shared stories in the past, him coming from a large family, of my grandmother sending him and his younger brother down to Lake McCloud to catch their breakfast. They would be in Lake McCloud for 30 to 45 minutes, catch enough fish to bring back to the house, and Granny was either making biscuits or hoe cake?
It was biscuits most of the time, and coffee. She always fed coffee sweet and made biscuits every morning. Eagle Lake has been a place that I've traveled all over the country, and this has been the place I wanted to come back to and stay, and we've enjoyed the residents.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Eagle Lake looks like a beautiful place. And if I went to Eagle Lake, what's the must-see there? I know someone told me some weird story about a jail. You want to talk about that?
Yes, you need to stop by and see the Eagle Lake Jail. It now is outside. It used to be on the back of an old flatbed truck. They put the cage on it, and I don't recall the year, but the truck broke down near Eagle Lake, and they ended up keeping the cell. And up until 1950, they used to sentence people to time in that.
In that cage, huh? Well, we have a picture of that cage, and I mean, yes, the times have definitely changed, hasn't it?
It has, it has. But it would make you think twice about committing crimes, I'm sure.
I bet. No, I definitely would not want to be in that cage at all. But you said it's a very safe city. Not a lot of people have to actually go to jail, hopefully, especially in such a facility. But tell me a little bit more about Eagle Lake. What are some of the other landmarks there?
In 1921, the city was incorporated. In 1926, the county built the Eagle Lake School, which was used up until, I believe, 69 or such like that. And that was first grade through 12th grade. You still get citizens saying, yeah, that used to be my classroom, and Mrs. Smith used to have us sit here, and just the stories they would tell is priceless. I think in 1971, the county gave the property to Eagle Lake, which is now the current city complex.
Mm-hmm. And now you're the mayor, so you're one of the people responsible for improving things in Eagle Lake. Not saying Eagle Lake is a bad place, but what are some of the things that you hope to bring to the commissioner and the commission to do for Eagle Lake? The
Parks and Recreation Department has always been high on my list, upgrading the playground areas. And anytime a grant's available, I'm sure we'll be knocking on Mr. Smith's door and seeing if we can get some assistance with that. But being a small city, funds are tight, and without the help of the county, a lot of the things that we have wouldn't get done.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you're aware of the FERDAP grants that are available to the small cities. So that helps, and because that's one of the things that has certainly helped Eagle Lake. It's helped Lake Alfred move along with their parks. Is the FERDAP grants that have been issued to us and helped it move along. So yes, and great partnerships we've formed with other cities, and so we'll continue that.
So tell me a little bit more about the FERDAP grant. I know it doesn't matter, the size of the city, but it could be a big city, a smaller city.
Yes.
but you guys have different grants like the FERDAP to benefit them.
Yes, well, it's a state grant. The cities have to apply for it, and it's available to them. And so I'm sure that Eagle Lake will reach out for that. And you know, I remember the old days at Eagle Lake when I was, well, high school and even before that. Eagle Lake used to have some terrific baseball teams. My gosh, those kids were good. The big ball field, I don't think it's even there anymore, is it? The
Yes,
big ball
sir.
field in the middle of town? Is
It's,
it still there?
At the northeast or northwest area of the city. It was built with funds from FERDAP.
Okay, is it very near the school, isn't it?
It's
that
now,
the
you
old
know where the
school?
old Assembly of God Church is. It's right next to that.
Okay, okay.
There's a real nice complex that was built with mostly grant money, I think $550,000
Okay.
we spent, and it was formed after the one in Haines City.
And a lot of people seem to be using it, and it's doing well, huh?
It's packed out every year.
That's
Good.
awesome.
Good.
And we still have good teams.
Yeah. I remember some of my friends were the Dean boys there that played baseball there, and then of course they played basketball and football, and the oldest, not the oldest, but of the two younger ones that were at home there, I remember Floyd Dean, who played for Winter Haven High School and then went to the University of Florida, made All-American, and there was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, and he was a terrific athlete. And his younger brother, as a matter of fact, was my best friend, and we were college roommates as well. And so they're Eagle Lake boys, and that's where they got their start, right there on those ball fields in Eagle Lake.
It's great.
That's awesome, because you said it's a safe place. What's the population like over there?
We're close to 3,000 people.
Okay, so a very small community. Just about everyone knows each other and stuff. So it's you know, a nice family type community over there.
We're hoping.
And again, you said that the crime is very low over there. So again, we did touch on some of the landmarks. Any other specific place that I have to go when I visit there? I know I drive by, but I don't think I've ever stopped there. Where else do I need to visit?
Well, you need to visit the lakes. We have nice, clean lakes, Eagle Lake and Lake McLeod. I hear the fishing is real good there.
Oh, so you're not a fisherman?
I haven't been there to fish, but they seem to enjoy it, and I've heard they pull out some good-sized bass.
Perfect.
But that's a good space to even just cruise.
Mayor, have people talked to you much about Crystal Beach? You heard about Crystal Beach?
The pavilion that used to be
Yes,
there?
sir.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, I didn't have any pictures of it today, but
that was just a super place. I can remember, and I don't remember in junior high or high school, we went to Crystal Beach for a end of the year picnic, our class, you know, and I'll tell you, it was wonderful. My parents and my aunt and uncle and all the people back in the 30s used to go to Crystal Beach to dance. They had dances out there at the pavilion, and as a matter of fact, my aunt and uncle and my wife's parents, when long before she was born, they were just dating. The four of them used to go out there to dance, and that was back in the 30s too. So it was a very, very popular place.
Excellent. Well, any last words before we wrap up the show?
just come by. We have different activities throughout the year. The 4th of July festivals and several events around Christmas time. Swing by.
Okay. And Commissioner, I'll leave you with the last comments.
Well, I just want to thank the mayor for being here. JR, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Spotlighting Eagle Lake, and it's a beautiful little community. And as I was trying to relate to you there, so I have a lot of fond memories of Eagle Lake with some very, very close friends. So it's been great.
Wonderful. Well, thank you at home for watching us. That is it for this Commissioner's Report. See you next time.